Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Nathan Fox. That's Ben Olson. We're the founders of LSATdemon.com and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. The email is anonymous. Go ahead.
Okay. Dear Ben and Nathan, I'm reaching out to you to share my thoughts about my recent admission to Northwestern Law School through their ED program. That's early decision. As a non-GPA candidate with a 172 LSAT score, I was worried about my chances of admission, so I decided to minimize the risk by applying early decision. I was pleased to receive an automatic $120,000 scholarship as part of my acceptance. While I am grateful for this opportunity, I can't help but wonder if I sold myself short by not applying to other top-tier schools like Harvard or Columbia. I have a strong work history in prestigious positions and a compelling narrative for why I want to pursue law school. Compelling to whom? I am experiencing feelings of regret and keep thinking about what ifs. Although I understand that these hypothetical scenarios may not have been feasible, I can't shake the feeling that I may have missed out on other opportunities. I would appreciate your perspective on whether I made the right decision to apply early decision to Northwestern Law School. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, Anon, which I'm going to call Northwestern.
They're trying to get their, I just looked at the 509 for Northwestern. I feel like I forget about Northwestern all the time, even though it's a T14 school. It's the second best T14 school in Chicago, right? We've got Chicago currently ranked third. Yeah. And we've got Northwestern, which is ranked 13th. You never think about that school.
Yeah.
We don't. Like, I'm on one
Chicago
coast and you're on the
overshadows it. Yeah.
And we don't think about Chicago, even though Chicago is such a great city. But Northwestern, yeah, being overshadowed by Chicago. It is a great school, but they struggle to keep their LSAT median up there in the competitive range. 171 median and 172 is their 75th percentile. So yeah, you applying with a 172 and they decided that this cycle they wanted to get their median up to 172. Like, I'm going to go ahead and guarantee that their median on the next 509 is a 172. That comes out soon, by the way.
It does, very soon. Yeah, actually, yeah. It might already be out by the time this airs.
I think they know what their medians are, when they're deciding whether to admit people. Non-GPA candidate is great because they have real high GPA. They have their median is 3.89 is the median. And, that's like so strong that when you apply with no GPA and a high LSAT, if it's a higher LSAT than their median, they're like, hey, this person unequivocally helps us.
Yeah.
And they applied early decision binding.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, we know that they're not going to deny us and go somewhere else. So we don't have to worry about yield for this student. So look, it's somebody who's going to raise our profile and, on LSAT, not hurt our profile on GPA, raise our profile on yield because they applied to this binding program. And it came with a scholarship. That's fantastic.
So let's talk about the numbers here. This school is $71,000 a year with a $120,000 scholarship, which sounds like a hell of a lot of money.
That's for 3 years.
That's for 3 years. That means you're
$40,000 a year.
$40,000 a year. So this means that our Anon or Northwestern admit is going to have to pay $31,000 a year in just tuition. That's not cost of living and all that other shit. That's a lot of money. It's a $93,000 education.
It does look like one of the best scholarships that this school has to offer. They gave 14 more than full tuition scholarships last year out of, this is the total in the school, huh? They gave 14 scholarships to 769 students. So it's like really rare that you're going to get that full ride plus stipend. They then give 35% of their class gets somewhere between half and full tuition. And that's what you got because you applied binding.
Yep. And look at the 75th percentile grant amount is $40,000.
Which is exactly what you got. So you got a pretty good deal on that school. There are a lot of people there paying, there are 29% of the people there paying full price. And there are another 34% of the people who are paying something more than half tuition, they got less than half tuition scholarship. They're paying more than half tuition. So, you're up there. It is a pretty good offer from that school. If you really love that school, that's a pretty good offer. But you're worried now about, hey, I didn't even apply to Harvard. I didn't even apply to Columbia. But I
Or all
have
the other in the top 14, right? Like what would they have given you? Could you have gone for free to potentially a higher ranked school or even a slightly lower ranked school, but for free? I don't know. The real question is $31,000 a year worth it to you? Are you planning to go into big law? I'm really not excited about this offer, Nathan.
I'm not excited about the offer either.
You think that this correspondent should reapply?
Yeah, because you can definitely just turn down. It's binding. My understand this has got to be true. It's binding just for this year, right?
It's got to be. So
It
you
can't be
say, hey,
binding
I'm
for
not
next
going
year.
to law school. Okay, goodbye.
They don't own you forever.
Yep.
You might look at the agreement you signed. I could see them trying to squeak in like this year and next year.
Valid for the next 3 years.
Well, if the scholarship offer is valid for the next 3 years, then maybe they still own you for some short time. If a court would actually enforce that clause, we don't know. But how does that look if so you withdraw, you maybe bump your LSAT up a little bit more. I mean, 172 is great, but it's below the median at Chicago. Chicago is a competitor law school of Northwestern, obviously. If you had gotten a 173, Northwestern might have to give you a full ride to entice you because you might be able to get into Chicago or, as you say, Harvard, Columbia, wherever else. Yeah, these binding programs it's almost like you're necessarily selling yourself short. It's like proposing before you've ever even had a first date.
Wow.
It's like, if you accept me, I promise that I'm all in.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Is it the first date? Yeah, maybe it's the first date. You're saying if you go out with me, or no, if you commit to me for the next 3 years, if you commit to being in a relationship with me for the next 3 years, I commit to marrying you.
Or it's like marrying your high school sweetheart. It's a lot more like that. Because it's like, okay, so you're the one person that I tried, and we're going to now lock each other down. And you don't know what else is out there.
You don't know what your value is in the marketplace.
You've never been on the marketplace. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's risks. You can always end up with someone worse than your high school sweetheart, but
could be great. Some people spend their whole life with their high school sweetheart. Far more people, I think, divorce their high school sweetheart.
I have no clue, but yeah.
I don't think it's good. If the average rate of divorce is over 50%, I can't think that high school sweetheart arrangements are on the better side of that.
The only reason I'm like hesitant is because it seems like not the best time to make that decision. But you also maybe when it comes to divorce, maybe you just never knew your market value, so you never get tempted to like.
Possibly. Although, I don't know. The people that I knew that married high school sweethearts didn't quite work out that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a very young time.
I would be willing to bet that high school sweethearts definitely divorce higher than the average rate of divorce. You want to make a bet? I think I'm making a real winning bet.
Okay, go for it. Yeah, let's do it. That's fine. What you got to compensate me though.
Compensate you? You need odds?
Yep.
Fine. I'll give you 2 to 1. I'll give you 2 to 1 on $20.
Okay.
That high school sweethearts divorce higher than the average rate of divorce.
All right. I'll take it.
And the reason why I'm going to win that bet is because divorces that end in death definitely don't end in divorce. So the older you are,
divorces that end in death. You mean marriages that end in
marriages? I'm just calling marriages divorces. They're like pre-divorces. Right? Marriages that end in death do not end in divorce, which means that the older you are to get married, the less likely you are to have divorce. So high school
because
kids
you're closer
married,
to death.
They got their
Yeah.
whole damn life to get divorced.
Okay. And then we have to figure out the answer to this question via
Listener
a listener
responses, 'cause we're not
response.
going to
Yeah.
look it up. Somebody tell me that I won $20 from Ben. I promise I'll spend
Please.
it on.
Wait,
dummies.
20. You on 10. You won 10, right? Do I owe you 10 and then you owe me 20? Is that how
No,
that
I'm
works?
giving you 2-to-1 odds on $20 on a $20 bet. So I pay you 40 or
40.
you pay me
Oh,
20.
okay. Okay, got
That's
it.
the bet.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Cool.
Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you want to tell us whether I won the bet or Ben won the bet, or just ask us any question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.